So when we receive messages from listeners like Neil, we just smile.
I realize that I'm not your target demographic, but I love listening to your station as it is the only progressive station on the dial.
That's us. Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back into Hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Is that Ari? Who's that? Oh, is that the one with Lotto? Okay. That's pop. That's very pop. Yeah, I'll wait to hear Lotto's verse, but new music. Listen, we were talking about the Billboard charts. Something I wanted to add. Only 4 singles debuted at number 1 on the Hot 100 chart between 1999 and 2008. Debut, right? New. And they were all debut singles from American Idol contestants. So this goes back to the point that we were saying about having a fan base and your fan base really, really locking in and making sure that you get that, accolade, that little notch in your belt. So the 4 songs were Clay Aiken's This Is the Night. That was 2003. Fantasia's I Believe in 2004. Carrie Underwood's Inside Your Heaven, 2005. And Taylor Hicks' Do I Make You Proud in 2006. And that was when the show would easily attract every week 25 million viewers. So the singles were released shortly after the contestants win, still on a high. You get the idea. There it is right there. So that is why connecting with your fans, it's always been important, but on an even deeper level as far as music right now, because there's so many other things that play into that success. So we'll have to see what twists and turns we take. Okay, we have a Kevin Hart update. Now, I mentioned a few weeks ago that Kevin was suing YouTuber Tasha K because she interviewed a former assistant. The assistant had an NDA, which she allegedly violated with this interview. Well, Kevin went to court, and despite, despite asking for a temporary restraining order and that the interview be blocked and taken down, it's behind a paywall. The judge has ruled against Kevin Hart. She said that there were important details left out that would not allow him, that would not allow him, the judge, Mitchell Beckoff, to issue the temporary restraining order. He said that the request that the video be deleted because it's defamatory and all lies was not complete because they left out why the information in the video was a lie. And the judge said he found that odd. He also said he wasn't going to pay $12 for a subscription to Tasha K to find out what was in the interview and felt that Kevin's lawyers did not provide specifics in the case. He said, part of the problem is I have no direct quotes of what occurred in the hour-and-a-half interview. He said, just a really vague, overbroad request that doesn't address actual malice, right? So we'll have to see what develops with that. I mean, it has to be considered a win for Tasha K. We haven't heard anything more regarding the other alleged cease and desist or suit that was coming. May not have even been for her when she interviewed a former business associate and longtime friend of Will Smith. So Tasha K is out there living on the edge. She is willing to pay the fine to get you guys whatever it is she's getting you. So listen, I mentioned Drake and Meek Mill have a problem, right? But it's not with another rapper. It is more with the Georgia judicial system. Let me slow down. On Wednesday, a private video of a visit with Young Thug and his girlfriend Mariah the Scientist was leaked. Now we know we've talked about this before. We talked about this with the Shirley Strawberry leaked jailhouse calls a few months ago. All of this is public information. These are not private moments or private calls. However, with the internet being more and more taken advantage of, you will start to see more of these things end up online. It's a 1-minute clip that apparently took place on Christmas, and Mariah is thanking him for her Christmas gifts, and it's a sweet moment, but a private moment. Well, Drake and Meek Mill, they have beef with that. They feel like more should be done. Drake said, this got to be some form of jail misconduct. You're going to drag this talented man in there and then not be able to control your employees using his personal business for their own gain. He said somebody benefited from this video even existing, and that's shameful. The whole case is just a wash. Just free the guy and let him come home and continue bringing light to Atlanta. So I don't know about all that, but we will see. This case is a documentary, a mini-series, something with all the twists and turns and strange happenings that have come along with it. But again, I implore you, if you are talking to relatives, friends, family members that are incarcerated, remember, that is not just a conversation between you and that individual. Simple. You just got to know that. When we come forward, we're going to have more trending topics and headlines. We'll talk about how a radio personality has dropped tea on the whereabouts of Wendy Williams, and more trending topics and headlines, of course. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, we've really missed Wendy Williams on our airwaves. There have been a lot of stories that I'm sure people have wanted to hear Wendy's opinion on over these past few months. Well, Miss Jones, she's a radio personality. Is she in New York now or Philly? I can't remember which station she's on. She's on 94.7 The Block in New York. And she used to be an artist back in the day. And she's friends with Wendy Williams, so she says. So during a recent segment on her show, she shared that she went to Wendy's apartment to do a wellness check on her. And she said that when she attempted to enter the apartment building, she was told by employees there, "You're a couple of months too late." She moved, right? And she said after checking around and asking a bit, she said that these individuals at Wendy's building claim that Wendy has recovered from her illness for a while, fell ill again, and decided to move to Florida to be with family. She said that she also believed that there was some truth to the reports that Wendy Williams was being taken advantage of by some of the people around her, right? Wendy's adult son, Kevin Hunter Jr., also alleged that some members of her mother's team of his mother's team, were making decisions on her behalf that he didn't believe in prior to this, right? So I guess I say all that to say that I hope that Wendy is doing well. I hope she is surrounded by people that really care about her well-being and that she is in the best possible position that she can be. I know that, people have a lot of feelings about her, but real talk, she was one of the best to ever do it, and a lot of people miss her input. And no matter how you feel about her, at least me, I don't want to see someone suffering, especially things like that when you're ill and being financially taken advantage of. We never want to hear things like that. So shout out to Wendy. I do wonder though, I guess Miss Jones was just trying to help, but as your friend, do you pop up at your place and tell all the business on the radio? I suppose that's her job, but I don't know. Okay, so listen, we have been talking about Taraji P. Henson a lot over the past couple of months, right? Because of the Color Purple release and her subsequent remarks about her pay and her career overall and some of the issues that they had while filming. Well, DJ Vlad, you know who he is. He has a popular YouTube channel. He took a lot of flack because he said basically that Taraji should kind of quiet her complaints because nobody wants to hear a millionaire complaining. And people were really upset that he said that. And again, understand why people will be upset because, if you can't be helpful, be quiet. That's the approach of a lot of things, especially something like this where we're talking about pay discrepancies and, black women's business, effectively, is what most people will say. However, I think that he had a point. We see it all the time. People feel like if you are financially secure, not just secure, but have money that is dream money, money that they could not imagine having access to in a life that mirrors that, nobody wants to hear about your problems. And I don't think it's being insensitive saying that. I recognize that everyone has problems. Everyone is dealing with some battle that you may not know, and money is not the elixir for everything. But with so many people not able to make ends meet, with trying to figure out, man, do I pay groceries or buy or pay the rent? Hearing, oh my God, I'm struggling to pay for my stylist and my publicist, it's not a statement that is going to garner much empathy. And it's not that she's not dealing with a real thing, or that I also don't agree with, because people are in an industry that pays them a lot of money, it doesn't mean that they should be shorted on their worth. But it's still another conversation, and it is a conversation that you have to recognize that the average person isn't interested in. Your pay disparity is not going to impact them. No shade, no tea. And I'm sure that we know that, and it's not that you don't want to see the person advance, but people are dealing with a whole nother level of things, and that's not to imply celebrities aren't, but they're not as sensitive. Well, anyway, after Vlad went viral with his comments about Taraji, you know, he has come back out and said that he apologizes. It was in an interview with Michael J. White, and he basically said that, first of all, I want to say that I'm a huge Taraji P. Henson fan in terms of her acting. I've probably seen every film that she's ever been in, and I can honestly say that she's killed every role. I also want to apologize for what I said in terms of her having a $12 million net worth, and she lives in a $6 million house, and that most people don't want to hear rich people complain that they can't get a few extra million. That was a cheap shot. Somebody close to me pointed that out recently, and I want to apologize for saying that. So somebody came behind the scenes and checked DJ Vlad. That's what it sounds like. And again, there is the adage, if you don't have something nice or helpful to say, then simply be quiet. We heard people express that same sentiment towards Vivica Fox, another black woman who had a different experience. And it's so interesting. We're in such a weird time when we have so many platforms, so many ways to get information out, but it feels more restricted than ever. And you understand to a degree because, as we just pointed out, you can hear literally everyone's opinions, and we don't want to, and not everyone's informed, and not everybody's smart or has something worth listening to. But I also think that you have to stop with the expectation that your opinion is the only opinion that is right or should be heard. Life doesn't work like that. We've oftentimes been on the other end of that spectrum where we're told, listen, your opinion doesn't matter. This is what we want over here. So it's a weird situation where you want to quiet those that you feel are in opposition from you, but make sure that your voice is the loudest and that you have the space and the respect to speak your mind. So we are in a very interesting time. Big ups to Vlad, though, for apologizing. It's not that I don't think that he should have said it, but it might have been too soon to say it. And sometimes, let's be real, you may not be the best person to say it, at least not in mixed company. So you make a choice when you do that, and that was the choice he made. Andy?
I wasn't mad at DJ Vlad because everything he said I agreed with.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people agreed with him. I mean, realistically, when someone hears someone has a $12 million net worth, who's going to cry for you? Even, I'm sure Taraji even knows that. Do you know what I'm saying? And once again, I'm not saying that she should sit there and eat her food and not try and get her worth as far as salary, but just know your audience and recognize that not everyone is going to be sympathetic to your plight because, one, they would kill to be where you are. And once again, I'm not saying that that means that you should stand pat and accept the pickle juice, but recognize that I think that's what happens with a lot of celebrities. I think that that is why sometimes, like, you know, people used to talk about Eddie Murphy and if he lost his funny and things like that. I think that sometimes when you get to a certain status, and we talk a lot about elevating and separating yourself from the old things and things of that nature, sometimes we lose touch because we are isolated. Your day to day doesn't necessarily involve the average person and their problems. You're shielded from a lot of that. And as time goes on, it's not that you forget your roots or where you came from, but because you're having different conversations, the solutions seem more easily to reach. And you forget what it's like to be under and trying to figure it out and not having the resources or the time to get in step with those type of things. So I guess empathy all around is something that we should all be asking for. And, you know, again, much love to Taraji. Shout out to Vlad for, coming back and apologizing for being a tad bit insensitive. And the conversation will continue. If there's one thing we know, it's that it's not going anywhere. Okay, so got a little love and hip hop update for you. Stevie J. We know Stevie is a wild card. We know Stevie is a lover guy. He has several children, and apparently he's going to be adding a new baby to the mix. Now, I'm not sure of this young lady's name, but she has been on social media heavily putting it out there that she's been ghosted by Stevie. When she shared that she was pregnant and she wanted to keep the baby, although no judgment, but just simply a question. If you watch Love and Hip Hop and you saw the things that Mimi and Jocelyn went through with him and with each other, you can't help who you fall in love with, but you can certainly select who you start a conversation with. And I get it. I understand. You can see how some women would think that Stevie J is attractive. He's in shape. He seems charming. But, girl, why would you want to do that to yourself? Unless the other side of that is you're angling for a slot on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I'm not sure, but let's listen to what she has to say about Stevie ghosting her.
I told him I'm pregnant. I thought that it would have been a happy moment for us. Oh God, and that shit went totally opposite the way I thought it would. Because I thought he would be happy. I don't know why. Like, you made sure I got pregnant. You made sure. You made sure. You made sure for you to just treat me like shit after this. I'm totally sad about that shit, dog. I just wish he would talk to me and have a real conversation with me instead of fucking calling me, talking, threatening me. Like, I don't even understand where that type of talk come from, bro. Like, where did that talk come from? We was just saying I say I miss you every time you leave town, and when you come back, you're like, I miss you too, and you run to me when you come in town. You run to me. Like, you either come to my house or I run to Star Island. Like, what the?
So they're clearly in Miami. One, I wish you guys would stop going to the internet. I mean, listen, I joke about the group chat. We kiki about it. Do you know? We have a good time at your expense, but we really don't want to. I just don't. Do you not have friends? What do you want the internet to do for you? It just screams of attention and positioning. And I get it, but you are starting your child's life off with all the dirty details about how their father seemingly does not want them and is not making any attempts at communication with you. I just don't think people recognize how that's going to impact their children later on. I don't know why you would want to set them up for that, you know? But again, she's still going because then she followed up this crying post on social media and the pleas for Stevie J to talk to her with an Instagram story where she said, I need to speak to a fairy OG godmother right now. And the only person I can think of is Mama D. You know, that's Scrappy's mother from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. She said, what lamp do I need to rub to talk to the one and only for some womanly advice? Girl, you going to Mama D? You don't have your own mom, auntie, cousin, girl? And maybe you don't. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with reaching out for counsel from a wiser elder, but girl, Mama D, this really sounds like a ploy to get on Love and Hip Hop. And considering what Scrappy has going on with his drama with Diamond from Crime Mob and his ex Erica and playing in between the two, I don't know if that's the best place to take advice from. Listen, stop what you're doing right now, and if you haven't, download the app, because coming up we have interviews with Maya Erskine, the star of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is coming to Prime Video next week, and the showrunner of that series, Francesca Sloan. They get all into the update of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, what's different in this go round. And we also have interviews coming up with the cast of In the Know. In the Know is an animated series, well, puppets really utilizing several voiceover actors. Basically, it's a show called In the Know. It's on NPR Radio. It's kind of a workplace comedy. And they do live interviews. So this season, you'll see an episode that features Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson will be live. He won't be a puppet. And a couple of others. So we're going to talk to them about the show, what to expect. It stars Jay Cameron Smith from Succession and a couple of others. So we're going to get into those details. So download the app. If you can't download the app, you can certainly go to the website and listen to it. And, you know, Thursday is my Friday. So I hope that you guys are amazing. I hope that you have a fantastic evening. Lock in. And you know we'll be back next week with more trending topics and headlines. Thanks, VIPs, for locking in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app. Download the app. Download the app.
Man, tip a street too, huh? Drop a bag on the what? Put the films on my head like a V-suit. Yeah, I love that. I love throwing up gangs so they know I'm his that's boo daddy. He do anything to keep his boo happy.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Baltimore City is closer to having local control of its police department instead of it being a state